Today I'm out on an adventure. I'm out in the wild here in Malta, and I'm going to take a long walk and see the nature in the north side here. And I'm right now on a beach, Paradise Beach or Paradise Bay. There it is. You can find it, and it's almost empty. Just one guy there because it's not season yet. In some weeks we will see it will be full with people again, as it is every year. But today I'm going to take a long walk over the cliffs here and going to talk to you about my testimony. Yes, that's true. I just walked up here, put up my camera and walked back just to make myself into the picture. That's true. So I have all left this beach now, and I have been eating some lunch and going for the real hike. You know, now it's going to be a little more rough walk. There is Gozo. It's beautiful, but it's also crazy rocks behind me. So hopefully the danger sign was just a way of telling me to be careful. Okay, something crazy just happened. I was just climbing up this rock here, and it's higher than it seems to be. But the thing was that suddenly, when I was in the hardest place, a snake come and just crawled down by my leg and my foot and away. And I was screaming like a girl. Okay, I'm still going upward. You know, what I was thinking was that if I'm going up for that mountain or that cliff, I will be on the top, but it's always another top waiting when you're climbing up that mountain. And that's maybe some wisdom behind it, and maybe we have something to learn about it. So that we shall not quit. When we see a mountaintop, we go for it, and if there's another one after that, we continue, because we are never quitting. That's maybe some of you needed to hear, and we are soon there, I think. Then, but I'm going down also, so it's okay. It's going to take a while. See you later. Man, look at this view. It's so beautiful. It's so silent. It's so perfect. God is so good. When we lived here, me and my wife and my son, me and my wife took the car up here many times and just look at the view, reading the Bible and praying together, and just had some time with the Lord. And it's so beautiful when the sun's going down, and you know, when the sunset in the summers. I just love this place. So This is the end of my hike, or what we can call it. It's have been a beautiful walk, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. But I promised you that you will listen to my testimony, and you have been so patient to listen to now, so I will just find somewhere to sit down and I will share my testimony with you. Okay, let's go. So this is my testimony, and this is the short version, and I will make videos more deeply into things I go into in this testimony. So let's start from the beginning. I was not growing up in a Christian home. I was growing up in Sweden. You know, we have the state church, but you know, it's just religion. It's nothing that I have with relationship to do. So of course I was baptized as a little baby. Didn't matter for me, but it was important for my parents. So I was growing up as the usual do in Sweden, with no church, no really belief in God. You go to funerals, you go to schools out and weddings, baptisms, but that's the only way of church you get to know. And when I came to the teenagers, I was doing things that I thought was fun. I thought it was fun, and I was really enjoying it, and that was to go out drinking with my friends, trying drugs, all these things that for the moment seems to be a good idea, but I couldn't see the consequence of it. I started to gamble on slots machines, on the restaurants and pubs. From the beginning it was funny. It was really fun to go there. Sometimes I win and sometimes I lose. But in one time I won a bigger amount of money, and I was so filled with joy when I won this money. So I was like, I can do this my whole life. I won't just continue to gamble. And maybe I will be professional. That's what most of the gamblers think when they are seeing themselves good at it. And I started to gamble more and more, and I lost control totally. I totally lost control over my gambling, and it became an addiction, and it ended up in a slavery. I was just slave to gambling. My mind was just into gambling. My life, everything I was doing was trying to get money and going and play for them. And as soon as I had some anxiety or felt bad, panic attacks, I went to gamble, and it felt a little bit better for that moment, but it was tenth worse when I came there from that place. So this was starting to really infect me and my family and my friends, because now I started to lie, I started to steal, because I needed more money. And it was one person it was all about. It was me, myself and I. I didn't care about my son, really. I didn't care about the relationship with his mom. I didn't care really about my friends. I thought I was a good person, but when I look back, I see I wasn't, because you couldn't trust me. I was just living for myself, and my mental health getting worse and worse. And I came to a day when I realized that I need to stop gambling. I need to do it, but I couldn't. I was in an addiction, and I needed help to get out of it. And I got help. I got help to come into this AA or something like that for gamblers, and I came into a group where I could explain more about my problems, and I realized that I'm not by myself. It was a lot of people having the same problem as I. So I started to go there. From the beginning I thought they were crazy. I think, what am I doing here? I am not have the same problem as they have. But after a while I realized that I was not better than anyone else. So what happened was that I came to stop gambling, but my mental health get worse and worse. My relationship was pretty damaged, and we were separating, me and my son's mom. And my son was he was like 2-3 years old. After some time I was really trying to seek some truth, and it really started a little bit before this, but I started to go into the New Age. I thought, okay, maybe there have to be something else. It has to be something about love. It has to be something about the spiritual world that I cannot really touch or feel or smell, but it's there. So I started to go and try to meditate. I tried Buddhism, Hinduism, shamanism, and now I experience a lot of spiritual things, but I also mix that with, taking drugs. And it's not a good thing to do. It's really bad for your mental health, of course. But I went deep into this. I was really, in this time, I was missing my son a lot because I didn't see him that much. I was wounded for everything I have going through with his mom, and it was a really hard time for me, and I really escaped into try to find this truth in the New Age in that time. And after a while I realized that I was not finding the truth. I was just going and trying to escape from all my problems. And I remember it was a party in my house. I didn't really have the house in that time, but I was renting a room in a house, and I lived there. And one night we had a big party at my house, and of course, there were drugs, there were alcohol on the table. We have been partying the whole night, and a person came into the room, a relative of mine, and he was just looking around. I haven't seen him for years, and he looked at me and said, "Christopher, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you destroying your life like this? You cannot live like this. You have a son." When he said it, it really touched my heart. It were really coming into my heart, like these words struck me deeply. So I couldn't sleep that night. I was just thinking about his words. I was thinking about my life. I was thinking about my son. And I was going up for an education in the northern Sweden, after this weekend. And I remember thinking for myself, I will go up there and I will end this education because I'm not capable to do it. I need help. But I went there. I went up to that place, so I go on a bus, and there a man came and sat beside me in that bus. I realized that he was going to the same class as I, and we were going to be schoolmates. And he asked me, "How are you doing?" And when he said it, I couldn't lie. I said, "My life is a mess." I didn't tell him the whole truth, but I said, "My life is a mess, and I don't know how to get out of it." And he looked at me and he said like this, that, "Christopher, what you are going through in the past, one day you will be a tool for someone else to get help." And when he said it, I was like, how can he know that about me? What do he know about my life? So what I did was that I felt hope inside of me, like maybe there is not the end of the whole thing. Maybe there is some hope for me. He was a Christian. So he started to, of course, share that he was a Christian and he believed in Jesus. But I was not really interested in believing Jesus because I just saw religion. I remember, what I saw of the state church, and it haven't impressed me that much. So, but he was not like that. He was not like a person that was a hypocrite, what I have seen a lot of. He was true in the way of how he was. He was full of peace. You just felt peace when you were sitting with him and talk with him because you saw that he was full of peace. And he had love for other people I have never seen before. And I realized that he was not a hypocrite. He was connecting with God. So when I started to have a good friendship with him, I had a lot of questions, and he started to talk to me about Jesus. And I realized that it's different to have a religion and have a relationship with God. And I was really into having a relationship with God. Somewhere in my heart I cried, "God, help me in this situation. I need you." And for a long time we became good friends. I was still into the New Age. I was still doing meditation. I was walking and I was dressing up like a hippie. Had a long beard. I had a skirt on my head and long kaftan clothes. That was my way of looking in that time. But I was starting to read the Bible, and I was starting to speak to my new friend about what is truth. And I realized that there is darkness behind all this, what's happening in the world. But I also realized that God have done something amazing, and God have sent Jesus, his son, to die on the cross for us. It took me a long time to realize this truth. It took me about 8 months. But I was reading, I started to pray, I started to seek God, And then I realized that this is the truth. What happened was that I remember it, I was sitting in a room, my friend was with me, I told him, you know, I'm ready, I want to follow Jesus. And he said, I know, it's time. And when that happened, I felt something inside of me started to move, something dark. I had a problem, you know, with breathing. I was starting to cough. I didn't realize it then, but it was demons, of course. When you are into the New Age movement, you have to be careful. When you are doing chakra, you're doing all this Reiki and things that seems to be so much spiritual and so alive. I can tell you, it's demons behind it, and I needed help now, but now Jesus came because I cried out, Jesus, help me. And I felt this darkness leave me in that room. And I felt peace coming into my heart. And I felt love of God was just there. And it was like the whole room just became white. It was amazing when the presence of God came into the room. And I was just sitting there like, is this really happening? And I realized that this is God, and He want a relationship with me. So I repented that day. I turned everything to Jesus. I said, I will follow you. If you are struggling with addiction today, and you are in bondage like I was with gambling or drugs or whatever it is, you know, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through Him. And if you have bondage, shame in your life, He can break it like He did for mine. So I just want to encourage you with my testimony. This is why I love Jesus. He is amazing. He's still working with me and He's still doing amazing things. But that was the beginning of my journey. So this is what I want to share today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. If you have any questions about this, what I talked about, if you are in addiction, if you are if you have been into the New Age and you feel the demonic oppression of what I talked about, I will go deeper into it in another video. But if you are struggling with this, there is help. Jesus is there and He can set you free. So God bless you guys. Bye.